Привет всем, с вами я, Janie, и это How Janie Learned Russian. We are now on our last instructional day of genitive case before we start into all of the exam preparation. And today we are just going to rehash. So, even though I introduced the concept of genitive case being needed for of, possession, and having, we didn't necessarily have a day explicitly devoted to it. So, today we are going to take a moment and really review how to use genitive case to talk about having, possessives. So in English, that would be the apostrophe S, and or of. And just get ready, maybe take some Tylenol preemptively because this can be a bit of a headache. It's actually pretty tricky. And in the olden days, when I was back in the classroom, we would kind of have like a game where I would give them these really complex sentences and then divide them into teams. And the team that could get it correct first won. You'll see here when I start giving you some of these example sentences, it's a bit of a headache of like which word goes into genitive case. Anyway, so stick with me. We're going to do some fun exercises with genitive case. Again, just a quick reminder, this is all based on my textbook, Russian Cases Made Slightly Less Scary. I believe the promo code is still working through maybe May, which is if you put in I love verbs, you're going to get 20% off of the ebook. So head on over to my Patreon. The link for that is down in the description below. So, okay. Let's review what we talked about in the previous video, which is accusative case turning genitive when it's animate, meaning a thing, it's not a feminine singular, and it has a soul, right? So if it's a feminine singular, we don't care if it's alive or not, it's going to get accusative case. But if it's a masculine animate, if it's a feminine plural, those ones are going to get genitive case. Okay, so let's review. I want you to answer these questions. And the good news is the question that I'm asking you kind of has a bit of a answer key in it. It demonstrates for you the case endings. Here we go. So answer these questions about you personally. Here we go. Как зовут вашего отца? Как зовут вашего отца? Okay, so if you're paying attention, all you're going to do is going to switch out the вашего with моего. Вот так. Моего отца зовут Брент. Вот. Окей. Следующий вопрос. Какого русского автора вы любите? Да, какого русского автора вы любите больше всех? Ой, для меня это очень трудный вопрос. Немножко сложный вопрос, потому что мой самый любимый автор, который русский, это Владимир Набоков. Но почти все его романы он написал на французском или на английском. Так, вот. Поэтому я могу сказать, что я очень люблю Антона Чехова. Я также очень люблю Фёдора Достоевского. И я люблю романы Толстого. You guys have heard me express my opinions about Tolstoy as a person. Я не очень люблю Толстого как человека, а я люблю его романы. Вот. Но «Войну и мир» не очень люблю, честно сказать. Okay. Anyway. Как зовут вашу маму? The answer key is in the question for you. Just switch out вашу with мою. Ready? Мою маму зовут Венди. Вот так. Окей, следующий. Как зовут вашего мужа? Как зовут вашего мужа? Моего мужа зовут Ахмед. Да? Ахмед. Вот. Как зовут вашего любимого музыканта? Да? Моего любимого музыканта это точно Стиви Уондер. Вот. Следующий вопрос. Как зовут вашего брата и сестру? Я уже говорила об этом. У меня две сестры. Одну сестру зовут Тиффани, другую сестру зовут Джессика, и брата зовут Джастин. Вот, все. Okay, хорошо. Just a quick reminder, there's the textbook. I told you about the promo code that's going on. All of that is linked in the description box below. Also, don't forget about group classes that we also have available. Go over to Patreon and check it out. Окей, интересный кусочек информации дня. Кого надо знать в русской культуре и почему эти люди важны в культуре? So up until now, we've kind of done a lot of people who, from olden times who are no longer with us, but it's actually super important to know Russian pop culture as well. And in order to understand Russian pop culture, you absolutely have to know Alla Borisovna. So in fact, she's so popular, we don't even say her last name, okay? That's what happens when you have a person that kind of everybody knows. So for example, people talk about Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin, кстати, right? So they don't even say his last name a lot of times. They'll just say Vladimir Vladimirovich. And then a lot of people, when they're talking about Alla Pugacheva, they don't even use her last name. They call her Alla Borisovna, right? That's how famous and well-known she is. People just leave off her last name, okay? So I saw this interesting article here about her, calling her the most famous woman in Russia. And I'd never thought about that. I know she's a big deal, but that's interesting that they're calling her the most famous Russian. She kind of is, okay? So she's kind of a mix. I would say she's a mix between Madonna and maybe Barbara Streisand. Somewhere, she's been around for that long. She's that respected musically. But then, in her younger days, she was in fact a sex symbol. She's very beloved. So much of Russian music is either written by her or sung by her or, produced. She's a big deal in Russian music. So anyway, as you can see, look, here she is with 3 different leaders, Gorbachev, Yeltsin, Putin. She's very beloved by the Russian people, even by the Russian leaders. So you can imagine it was a big deal. I'm going to tell you about this scandal that just happened just recently. It's a big deal that she left Russia and doesn't intend to return. So we'll talk about how we got there. Now, interestingly, у Аллы Пугачевой, такой молодой, красивый муж. Интересно. Его зовут Максим Galkin. So he started out as kind of a comedian, an MC for different shows. Super funny. Look up videos of him. He's super funny. And he does really funny impersonations of everybody. He actually does hilarious impersonations of Alla Borisovna. And together they have these 2 twins. He is, I believe, maybe 30 years younger than her. He's a lot younger than her. Some people, if you know gay terminology, some people claim that Alla is his beard. Let me know in the comments if you even know what that means. But anyway, so there's kind of controversy there. Well, anyway, it gets even more controversy here in just a second. So Maxim Galkin, when the war started in Ukraine, Galkin came right out and was just like, this is horrible. I don't agree with this. And he has Jewish ancestry, so he was able to emigrate to Israel and get Israeli citizenship. So he just came right out. So when you do that in Russia, you risk being called an иноагент, meaning an иностранный агент. So anytime you speak out against the Russian government, you can be labeled a person that's getting funded by a foreign government. All right, so that's what they're going to call you, and then you have to go through all this super bureaucratic nightmare to get paid or different things like that. Anyway, so imagine this. Russia's now most famous woman, her husband just got declared an иноагент, and she comes out and she says, look at this, прошу зачислить меня в ряды иноагентов моей любимой страны. So she goes off and says, I ask you to, if you're going to call my husband an иноагент, you need to call me one as well. You need to say that I'm a foreign agent as well, because I 100% support him, and he's a wonderful person. He loves Russia. He's a patriot. And so you might as well call me one as well. Again, let's remember, she's a big freaking deal in Russia. Look, here she is with all of these people. Sure enough, to this day, she has not been declared a foreign agent. And she still does not live in Russia. They had this big mansion that's just sitting there. They're selling it for pretty much pennies on the dollar. And that's a big scandal going on right now, kind of in Russian pop culture. So, вот такие дела. All right, so let's get to the practice part of our genitive case. Here we go. So let's practice some having. Remember, in order to say have, we need to say u plus genitive case, and then the thing that they have gets nominative case unless they don't have it, in which case it gets genitive case. Okay? So I might say something like «У кого 13 детей?» У кого 13 детей? У Григория Распутина? У Аллы Пугачевой? Или у Льва Толстого? У Льва Толстого. У кого много-много детей? У Льва Николаевича Толстого 13 детей. Да? Окей, следующий вопрос. У кого очень страшные глаза? Вот такие страшные глаза. Да, вот. У кого такие страшные глаза, все время смотрит прямо в душу твою. Я бы сказала, okay, so remember we have Lev Tolstoy, Григорий Распутин, or Алла Пугачева, okay? Я бы сказала, что у Григория Распутина очень страшные глаза. Они страшные, да. Вот, окей. Дальше. У кого красивый молодой муж? У Льва Толстого, у Григория Распутина или у Аллы Борисовны Пугачевой? Как вы думаете? Were you paying any attention for today's interesting fact of information? Это у Аллы Pugachevой. And if you're not quite sure how to decline these last names, don't worry about it. They're pretty similar to how you do nouns and adjectives as well. But yeah, there's some different rules in there. But yeah, Аллы Пугачевой is how we're saying that. Вот. Да, у Аллы Пугачевой очень молодой муж. Да. Вот. Okay, so now another extremely useful use of genitive case is to answer the question whose, like who does this belong to? Whose is this? Whose is this? Okay, so we have, and I'm going to change it up. Instead of calling him Lev Tolstoy again, we're going to say известный русский писатель. Известный русский писатель. Andrei Rublev, remember we talked about him? He was the icon painter from about the 15th century, 14th century. And then we have the great Ekaterina Velikaya. So hopefully you guys have been paying attention to all these different interesting tidbits that we've been talking about. So I'm going to put something up on the screen, and I'm going to say, whose is this? Is it Tolstoy's? Is it Andrei Rublev's? Or is it Ekaterina Velikaya? Okay, so I'm going to put it up on the screen, and you're going to say, that is the blank of, and then the person whose it is, who it belongs to, gets genitive case. Okay, so, поехали. Вот. Хорошо. Картина. Чья это картина? Картина называется Троица. Да, это чья картина? Это картина известного русского писателя Толстого, или это картина Андрея Рублева, или это картина Екатерины Великой? Скажите, пожалуйста, чья это картина? Это картина Андрея Рублева. Это картина Андрея Рублева. Вот так. Окей, дальше, то есть это, да, видите, Андрей Рублев и, кстати, как раз его картина, вот. Окей, чей музей? Этот музей называется Эрмитаж. Эрмитаж. Have you guys been paying attention to my tidbits? Чей музей? Эрмитаж. Чей музей? Это музей известного русского писателя Толстого? Это музей Андрея Рублева? Или это музей Екатерины Великой? Как вы думаете? Скажите, пожалуйста. Это музей Екатерины Великой. Вот так. Окей? Дальше. Чей роман? Чей роман? Вот. Роман называется «Война и мир». «Война и мир». Чей роман? Это роман известного русского писателя Толстого? Это роман Андрея Рублева? Или это роман Екатерины Великой? Как вы думаете? Как вы думаете, чей роман? Это «Война и мир» – это роман известного русского писателя Толстого. Да. Вот такие дела. Okay, so here's the part where if we were in the classroom, I'd divide you up into two teams and I'd give you a piece of paper and you have to dissect, right? You have to dissect all of this genitive case that needs to happen in this sentence. And you're going to see it's going to get more and more complicated. Again, you might have a headache at the end of this, but I believe in you. You can do it. It's a really, really good exercise to really figure out where do I put the genitive case, okay? So first and foremost, when we have this apostrophe S, we need to change the phrasing in English. If any of you know Spanish or Latin languages, the way you have to say they, like who something belongs to, you're going to switch the word order, okay? So when we say this sentence, this is my brother's friend, we're actually going to say this is the friend, and obviously there's no the in Russian. This is the friend of my brother. And the thing that comes after of is the thing that needs genitive case. Okay. So of my brother, that means my and brother both need to get genitive case. Here we go. This is my brother's friend. Okay. So now we need to flip it. This is the friend of my brother. It's going to sound like this. Это друг моего брата. Это друг моего брата. Okay. Let's look at this next sentence. This is my friend's brother. Oh, this one's going to be a little bit different. This is my friend's brother. So let's rephrase it. This is the brother of my friend. This is the brother of my friend. Okay? Это брат моего друга. Это брат моего друга. What if we want to say female friend? Это брат моей подруги. Это брат моей подруги. Вот так. Okay, next sentence. This is my brother's friend's dog. Okay, so again, this is all just for exercise. This is just to have fun, just to be silly, okay? But it also teaches you how do we rearrange these sentences so that it works in Russian, okay? So what we need to do is we need to say the dog of the friend of the brother. Okay, so we go everything in of my brother. So the dog of the friend of my brother. That's the order that everything needs to be in. And then it shows you what everything needs to do to get genitive case. Okay. То есть, это собака друга, my brother, моего брата. Это собака друга моего брата. Вот так. And I know that Russians, when they're learning English, they really struggle with these apostrophe S's, right? So in fact, even like my Brazilian family as well, like this apostrophe S is a really weird concept for a lot of people. So they always struggle to kind of know where to put the apostrophe S. So same thing with us. We have to go in the opposite direction. We have to change the word order and then figure out what belongs to whom. Okay, next. Oh, my brother's friend's wife has cancer. Okay, so who is having? We need to look at the sentence. My brother's friend's wife has cancer. Okay, so who has the cancer? So that's the person, that's who needs to be at the beginning of the sentence right after the U, whoever has the cancer. So it's the wife. Okay, so it's going to go у жены, okay, the wife of the friend of my brother. У жены друга моего брата есть рак. У жены друга моего брата есть рак. You see how this is all like a puzzle? It really does. It feels like you're solving a puzzle of some sort. Okay, let's take it up a notch. Get ready. So now we're going to be doing some more feminines. Okay, here we go. First phrase. My husband's sister. And by the way, those in-law words in Russian, they have separate ones. It's insane. Like the sister of your husband is different than your wife's sister. Like they have totally different words for every type of in-law that ever existed. It's insane. So this concept of just put those apostrophe S's in there, it's going to come in really handy unless you want to learn all those yucky in-law words. Okay, so my husband's sister. Сестра моего мужа. The sister of my husband. Okay? My husband's sister's husband. I'm sorry to do this to you. My husband's sister's husband. Okay, let's reverse the order. The husband of the sister of my husband. Муж сестры моего мужа. Кстати, муж сестры моего мужа румын. Он румын. Он говорит по-румынски. Он православный. Да, вот. И да, вот поэтому я думаю об этом сейчас. Okay. Next one. So it would be one more time. Муж, the husband of the sister of my husband. Да, то есть муж сестры моего мужа. Вот так. Okay, next one. My husband's sister's husband works in my brother's company. Okay. So we will come to the works in my brother's company. We'll get to that in just a second. Let's start by starting the sentence with the husband of the sister of my husband, and then we'll do the works part later. So let's start it up. Муж сестры моего мужа работает in the company of my brother. В компании моего брата. Вот так. То есть муж сестры моего мужа работает в компании моего брата. Мир тесен, да, видите? Okay? Вот. Next one. My sister's husband. Okay, so we want to say the husband of my sister. Let's do it. Муж моей сестры. Муж моей сестры. Вот. Okay? This is my sister's husband's company. Okay, so what we need to do here is this is the company of the husband of my sister. Here we go. Это компания мужа моей сестры. Вот. Okay. Now we incorporate yesterday's lesson on animate, inanimate, and we're going to get a зовут in here. So who are we зовутing? Okay. Okay. My sister's husband's name is Misha. Okay. So let's do зовут. So they call the husband of my sister Misha. So Misha's not going to change. Okay. So they call, because remember, зовут literally means they call him. So they call зовут мужа моей сестры зовут Миша. Мужа моей сестры зовут Миша. Вот так. Вот так. Did you survive? Did you survive? Did you give up on Russian? Did you just go choose a different language? Did you just go choose Spanish or something? Or maybe like Dutch? I'm sorry. I'm seriously so sorry, but it's going to be so fun. And there's Rasputin again. He keeps creeping in on all of our screens, like, because that's what he does. He just like shows up in creepy places. So anyway, вот, это все на сегодня. Увидимся завтра. We'll start our preparation for our genitive case exam, and I promise you it won't be as headache-inducing as today's lesson was. Хорошо, это все. Пока-пока.